Good morning. We'll call this meeting to order. Council is conducting this meeting in person via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chamber is open for public attendance in person. However, councillors and members of the public may still join meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. If the meeting is recessed, callers will be put on hold until their meeting reconvenes, with the exception at noon where callers will be asked to call back in. This helps with call quality. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and may be uploaded to our website and social media. To eliminate background noise, please mute your phone during the meeting. We also ask that all attendees mute their devices to reduce disruptions to the meeting. Everyone has a right to be present at council meetings and council committee meetings. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair as per Municipal Government Act Section 198. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding. Councillor Kester did send his regrets yesterday. He mentioned that he was unable to attend today. Just to confirm, Councillor Kester, you're not on remotely? Okay. So there is an agenda before council. There is one change that is required to be made as per Municipal Government Act Section 193 and our procedural bylaw section 51 sub 2, and that's establishes the dates and times of regular council meeting as required. All councillors must be present when establishing the dates and times of regular council meetings pursuant to section 193 sub 1 of the Municipal Government Act. So just on the agenda today, we'll have to just remove that and we'll have to just approve it at the next scheduled council meeting. Are there any other changes or additions? Could I get a motion from council to adopt the agenda as amended?
I'll move approval of the October 17, 2023 Whelan County Organization Meeting agenda as presented and amended as follows, removing agenda item 2.1, 2024 draft calendar, proposed meeting dates and times.
Thank you, and we'll open voting. You can still change. Okay, the adoption of the agenda is carried. So now we'll go over voting procedure. So we're required to, if there's a secret ballot, to have a procedure in place by resolution. So just before we get into that, the generally accepted practice at the meetings in prior has been self-nomination or nomination and let your name stand as a potential candidate for that position on the board or committee. So we do have a motion for the secret ballot procedure. So the motion being, if someone could make this motion, that council approve the following secret ballot procedure during the organizational meeting. For individual positions, should there be more than one nomination, a secret ballot will be taken. For boards or committees that require multiple positions, a secret ballot will be initiated if the number of nominations exceeds the positions required by the board or committee. In instances where a candidate for a position achieves a majority of the votes, the majority being 4 or more votes, the nomination will be declared successful. If a candidate fails to secure a majority, voting will proceed with the elimination of the candidate receiving the least votes. This process will continue with the candidate with the fewest votes being eliminated in each round until a clear majority is achieved for each position. Could I have a councillor make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Clausen has made that motion. Any debate? Okay, voting's open. And that motion is carried. Thank you. Now we'll do a nomination for the Reeve position. So self-nomination or nomination by councillors.
I'll nominate Amber Reeve or Amber Link for Reeve.
Thank you, Councillor Reichert.
I'm going to nominate Shannon.
Just, will both candidates let their names stand?
I will decline. Thank you.
I'll accept.
Second call for nominations. Second call for nominations. Third call for nominations. We'll cease nominations. Reeve Link is the Reeve for Wheatland County. I'll just get assign this office, oath of office.
I, Amber Link of Wheatland County in the province of Alberta, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law and the office of Reeve, so help me God. Thank you for the nomination, and it's an honor to serve the county. Thank you. We'll now open the floor for nomination of Deputy Reeve.
I'll nominate Scott Clausen.
And Councillor Clausen, will you let your name stand?
Yes, I will.
I'll call a second time for nominations for Deputy Reeve. I'll call a third time for nominations for Deputy Reeve. We'll close nominations for Deputy Reeve, and Councillor Clausen will do the oath of office.
Thank you, everyone. I, Scott Clausen of Wheatland County in the province of Alberta, do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability execute according to law the office of Deputy Reeve. So help me God.
Congratulations, Deputy Reeve Clausen. We'll now move to the annual review of the Code of Conduct bylaw. The Code of Conduct has been included within our council package for the organizational meeting package. I trust everybody has had an opportunity to review. question to administration. I don't think we need a motion. It's just there so that we've all reviewed it.
That's correct. No motion required.
Fantastic. Thank you. We'll do the same for for agenda item 1.7. The legislative policies have been included in our package. Again, I trust everybody has reviewed them, and I don't believe a motion is required. Perfect. Then we'll move to, so we're going to, agenda item 2.1 was removed from the agenda, and we'll bring that back when all of council is here to approve the meeting dates and times. Let's move to agenda item 2.2, 2024 open house scheduling.
Yes, good morning, Council. Brian from administration. Administration has followed council's direction to schedule 2 open houses for 2024. So administration was proposing dates in January and July of 2024 just to hold these open houses in their respective divisions. So the divisions kind of went in order where they were held last. So with number 4, Division 4, Councillor Eichert's division, and then Division 2, Reeve Link's division, the last 2 county scheduled open houses that were done. So administration also was just contemplating different dates that would work for the public. Our intention is to have the most public to be able to attend the open house meetings. So administration came up with January and July, just spaced them out 6 months, just so it's clear with seeding and harvesting was our kind of main rationale behind this. Administration is open to any dates that council may have with just locations to be determined. We'll probably work with the area councillor to just determine the exact location for those. If there are any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for CAO Henderson? If not, 2 motions to schedule the open houses, please.
I'll make the motion that council direct administration to schedule an open house in January 2024 to be held at a location in Division 4.
Any questions or discussion on the motion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried.
Before we make a motion on the next one, could we maybe make it June or July, just because mid-July, we're on recess, and so that only leaves 2 weeks to find an appropriate date. I think if we left it open for a bigger period, it might be easier.
That's actually an excellent point through the chair. So administration's intention was to hold it early July, just prior to the council break, but amending that motion to have June or July would allow administration flexibility to schedule in late June as well, or whenever the divisional council deemed appropriate. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We may have a lot of ratepayers that go on vacation once school is out as well. So June may work better, but being conscious of sort of the farming cycle as well. So we can discuss that for sure. I really like the idea of adding June.
I'll move that council direct administration to schedule an open house in June or July of 2024 to be held at a location in Division 2.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Any questions or discussion on the motion? I'll call the question.
I find good controversy brings out people too.
Motion is carried. Thanks, everybody. Let's move to agenda item 2.31.
Yes, good morning, Council. Brian again from administration. This is just the annual appointment of signing authorities, and this just has to do with our financial institutions. This would have to do with just checks that are issued from the county, although most of those checks are now electronically. So we do provide this motion to our banking providers after this is done on an annual basis. And consistent with prior year, it's just the Reeve, Deputy Reeve, Chief Administrative Officer, General Manager of Corporate and Financial Services, and the Manager of Financial Services. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
I'll move approval to appoint the following assigning authorities for Wheatland County, the Reeve. Do I have to name the name?
Just say star.
I could do that. Reeve Amber Link, Deputy Reeve Scott Clausen, Chief Administration Officer, the General Manager of Corporate and Financial Services, and the Manager of Financial Services.
Thank you, Councillor Eckert. And I guess a correction, it would have been more accurate, like asterisks.
That's why I didn't do it.
Right. Any questions or discussion on the motion? All in favor? Or we'll call the question. All in favor, but digitally. Motion is carried. We'll move to 2.32, audit services.
Yes, good morning, Council. So another exercise of the Municipal Government Act. So the county is required, or all municipalities are required to appoint their auditors for every fiscal year. So this is the 5th year that we are proposing to use MNP as our financial statement auditor. We have a good relationship. They've been excellent with timelines. After this fiscal year, we will be required to put the services out for RFP, just as per the contract, and all proponents will be able to bid on the work. But as for now, we do recommend that that council appoint MNP as a financial statement auditor for 2023 fiscal year. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
I move that council approve MNP LLP as the financial statement auditor for the 2023 fiscal year.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. We'll move to agenda item 2.4.
Yes, good morning, Council. So what administration has done is we have provided the list of all the boards and committees that council are appointed to. And with Councillor Kester's absence today, he did mention to me just to that he would be willing to accept nominations for all boards and committees with the exception of the WHMB. He will be utilizing his seat under an alternative board to kind of sit on that board. So the motions are there. The secret ballot procedure has been approved by council. So self-nomination, nomination by other councillors, and everything is here. When the motions we'll have the motions put forward for council to vote on as well electronically. Thank you.
So question to council, would you prefer to work through the agenda package as they're listed, or administration has circulated the list in this format, and we could go just basically top to bottom, side to side? What's everybody's preference? I'm hearing some support for using the worksheet that administration has developed. Does anybody object to that? It's probably easier as we work through and then we can mark. Okay, perfect. And then just keep in mind there is some contextual information just in the package for each committee that administration has put together. So we'll start with the Agricultural Service Board. And as per the ASB bylaw, we do, last year we had all of council sit on the ASB. And there is a proposed motion up on the screen. Council's wishes.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint all members of council to the Wheatland County Agriculture Service Board for the 2023-24 term in accordance with bylaw 2019-29.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to the Emergency Management Committee. I believe that those committees are appointed at the ASB organizational meeting, which will follow this. And I believe that's outlined in that Ag Services Board bylaw as well. We'll move to the Emergency Management Committee. There is a recommended motion or a potential motion on the screen. Council's wishes.
I'll let my name stand. I was on there previously.
Okay. As would I. Yes, I think you're right.
I'll move that Wheatland County approve Reeve Link and Deputy Scott Clausen as its representatives to the Emergency Management Committee for the 2023-24 term in accordance to bylaw 2013-13.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. Any questions or discussion? We'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Municipal Planning Commission. There's a recommended motion under number 3.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint all members of council to the Wheatland County Municipal Planning Commission for the 23-24 term in accordance with bylaw 2022-26.
Thank you, Councillor Eichert. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to the Public Presentation Committee.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint all members of council to the Wheatland County Public Presentation Committee for the 2023-24 term in accordance with bylaw 2022-23.
Any questions or discussion on the motion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. There's also a recommended motion to appoint chair and vice chair for Public Presentation Committee.
I'll make the motion that Wheatland County appoint Reeve Link as chair and myself as vice chair to the Public Presentation Committee.
Any questions or discussion? Call the question. Motion is carried. And then in terms of the intermunicipal development plan committees, do we need to review those appointments, or would we be able to do a blanket motion? Sorry, we could also come back to it. I didn't realize it was down there. So there is a blanket motion right at the bottom there, number 32, that council accept the Intermunicipal Development Plan, IDP, and Intermunicipal Collaboration Framework, ICF list as presented. Council's wishes.
I'll make that motion that council accept the that county appoint all members of council. Oh, sorry.
Right at the bottom.
No, that one's wrong. Somebody moved something on me.
Oh,
I'll move that council accept the intermunicipal development plan and the intermunicipal collaboration framework list as presented.
Any questions or discussion? Call the question. Motion is carried. And we'll move to the Marigold Library Committee. I'll open the floor. I did serve on the Marigold Library Board for the last 5 years. And I was wondering if another councillor may be willing to let their name stand and take on that board. It is only 4 board meetings a year. They do have some committees and an executive. But to this point, I don't think I have served on any of those. I may have in a previous year, not the last year. Is anyone willing?
Yep. Oh, okay. Me too.
Councillor Laursen and Councillor Bigger? Okay. So then we would go to secret ballot. Okay. Oh, any other nominations, either self or nominating somebody else for Marigold? I haven't been calling just because if you're self-nominating or whatever, but I will call a third time just because we are voting. Any other nominations for Marigold Library Board? Okay, so if everybody can choose one representative to appoint between Councillor Laursen and Councillor Bigger.
Sorry.
Okay, so it was a tied vote of 3-3. So
I think the procedure speaks to that. Do we draw a name? Does somebody have?
So I guess the procedure actually doesn't speak to this because of typically we have 7 voters. That's actually super interesting. So would council be open to just a voting again and see if anyone changes their mind? Because technically the person with the least votes would fall off of the voting. But in this instance, there is
If we
no.
look at 54-3, I think if after repeated ballots, it is clear that no one nominee will receive a majority of votes, council may use an alternate method of determining the successful nominee. The alternative method may be established by consensus or if required by resolution. So I guess we could do a second vote because it says if after repeated ballots. So we could do a second vote. And then if there isn't a majority, then we could discuss an alternative process. On another committee, another board that I used for a committee, we drew a name just because it was a tie. But we can cross that bridge when we get to it.
We don't have to campaign, do we?
I mean, I didn't like see any candy bags on their desk or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Cash works for me.
Yeah. Including me.
This is where I always offer the spelling bee option. Shannon would win every time. I just don't want like arm wrestling or.
Leg wrestle. Oh, except I think Rick would win.
Okay, on second revote, Donna, or Councillor Bigger was declared the successful.
Thanks, everybody, and thank you to both of you for letting your name stand. We do need a motion. Number 7 up on the screen.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Bigger as its representative to the Marigold Library Committee for the 2023-24 term in accordance with secret ballot.
Any questions or discussion? Call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Wheatland Family and Community Support Service. Looking for 2 councillors to represent on that.
Just through the read, motion number 8 kind of speaks to an alternate for that board, the Marigold Library Board.
Oh, yes, my apologies. Sorry, I missed that. I'll open the floor for nominations for alternate. Yes.
I'll nominate Rick Larson. Councillor Rick.
Councillor Larson, would you let your name stand?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other nominations? A motion to such effect? A motion to appoint Councillor
sorry.
Larson as the alternate representative to the Marigold Library Committee.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Larson as its alternate representative to the Wheatland Library, to the Marigold Library Committee for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. Open the floor for Wheatland Family and Community Support Services.
I would like my name stand for that.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise.
I'll nominate Councillor Kester too.
Thank you, Councillor Larson.
And I'll let my name stand too.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. Anybody else interested? We will move to a secret ballot. If everybody can place 2 names between Councillors Laprise, Councillor Kester, and Councillor Bigger. Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah, right.
It's raining anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay, after secret ballot, the 2 successful nominations for the board are Councillor Laprise and Councillor Bigger.
Can we have a motion appointing Councillors LaPrice and Bigger, please? I think that will be a second.
I'll move the approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor LaPrice and Councillor Bigger as its representatives to the Wheatland Family and Community Support Services Committee in accordance with secret ballot.
Any questions or discussion on the motion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. Motion for, I think we typically do, yeah, a motion for an alternate representative for WFCSS.
I'll let my name stand as an alternate.
Thank you, Councillor Eichert. Is anybody else interested? Council's wishes?
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Eichert as its alternate representative to the Wheatland Family and Community Support Services Committee for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Wheatland Housing Management Body. We need 3 appointees.
I'll let my name stand.
Thank you, Councillor Larison.
I'll also let my name stand.
Thank you, Councillor LaPrice. Any other councillors interested in serving on the WHMB?
Just a point of order. When I talked to Glenn yesterday, he said he would let his name stand as long as the rest of council doesn't have a conflict with him being a hospice member as well. I don't know if that would be considered a conflict. Did he talk to you about that?
In my discussions with Councillor Kester, he mentioned that the only board he wouldn't let his name stand for was the WHMB. And he was going to utilize his position as under the hospice. So
Given that he's not here, I'd say that's probably the safer bet to not put his name on that.
yeah, council could always ask Councillor Kester when he's back at the next council meeting as well, or appoint a member at large, whatever. I think Councillor Kester will be on the board as serving from an alternative board, so I think he would be happy with that, I believe, anyways. But yeah.
I think he would be happy to, but I mean, I don't want to speak for him either. That he's not here.
What's this member at large? How would that work?
So I did look at this ministerial order prior to this organizational meeting because I wasn't sure if there would be, the council could fill all 3 seats just internally. So the ministerial order does speak that Wheatland County will appoint 3 members. It doesn't specifically say they must be council members. So if council did appoint 2 members today, that Councillor Larson and Councillor LaPrice as members, and then if that's the only members of council that would be willing to sit on the WHMB on behalf of Wheatland County from council, then council should appoint another member at large. So just advertise for a position and direct administration to do that. And then ensure that it comes back to council for council's deliberation and consideration. It wouldn't be something administration would be doing.
Councillor Larison.
I would almost think that might not be a bad idea because it would bring a fresh set of eyes in. I think that's actually sounds like a good idea to me.
I just want to confirm, I'm just trying to think of that ministerial order. It doesn't say appoint elected representatives?
No.
No, it doesn't.
What I can do is I have the ministerial order. I can forward it to all of council just for your review. But I'm certain it does.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I absolutely take your word for it. I just
Want to confirm?
confirm. Yeah.
I'll forward
Sorry,
it.
go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. Please you.
I was just going to say, can we defer this to another meeting then, just to get that straightened out? Or do we want to do it now?
Deputy Reeve Clausen had a comment and then we can address that. And sorry, I should have.
I was really hoping Councillor Kester would be here today because there's been a perceived unfairness that we have an extra vote at that board because he's a council representative. And I was really hoping he could be here to discuss that and possibly take that position, because even if we move forward with a member at large, it's still another county vote, and it's in perception wise, and I've heard this from members, not from this county, from other members, municipalities, that it looks like we have more votes on that board, which I think is something that we should address at some point. I realize he's wearing a different hat there, but he's also a councillor, so that is something that is public perception. It's out there. Just wanted to let everybody know that.
To Councillor Laverson's question, I think it's probably preferable that if we can do an appointment today, just because I know some boards and committees will have their organizational meetings and that type of thing as well. I will just ask one more time if there's a member of council willing to let their name stand for the board. Councillor Laverson.
I would suggest maybe that we appoint Councillor Kester, and if he declines, he can do so at the next meeting, and then we appoint a member at large. Is that, or would that be not proper order?
My only concern is that there was clear direction given to CAO Henderson, and that's, I think we should respect the direction that was given to CAO Henderson. And we are in our organizational meeting. It would have been known that we were making this decision today. It was just, you said yesterday, CAO Henderson, that you spoke with Councillor Kester?
Yes, that's correct. What council could do is just not to kind of hold that process up. Council could appoint the 2 members here today and then advertise that position. The advertisement would be open for a while, and that might give Councillor Kester an opportunity to come to the next council meeting to address the concern, or maybe even look at the WHMB and their policies on their governance to see if that would be appropriate even. That's something that that board would have to kind of determine. That's nothing that county council could. Yeah, I mean, that might be, I think, the best path forward.
Looks like there's consensus for that. That way we're progressing. And then we can address the concerns at a future meeting. And then we can get at least get the ball rolling on having applicants. So you're suggesting a motion appointing the 2 councillors, and then a motion, you said, to direct administration to advertise?
To advertise and bring to a future council meeting for council's consideration.
Perfect. Okay. Council's wishes.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Larson and Councillor Priest as its representatives to the Wheatland Housing Management Body for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried.
I'll move that we direct administration to advertise for a member at large for the Wheatland Housing Management Board.
And to bring applications back to council for decision at a future council meeting?
During an enclosed session as well, just resumes, they have to go in camera under FOIP.
That is exactly what I said,
That was what you said. Perfect.
or intended anyhow. So
You're willing to have
Yes.
that be your motion?
that will be my motion. Thank
Is
you.
everybody clear on the motion? Deputy Reeve Clausen.
Is there a framework that we would follow if there's more than one applicant? Something that we'd have to pass maybe before that, or do we use it for something else?
I think the housing board has a framework of competencies.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could utilize that and try and address that. It may assist too, because I believe there's been direction to move like to competency-based appointments.
In fact, I could provide that to Brian so that when you are advertising, you could
Actually, that's a brilliant idea. Yeah.
find some of those things. Yeah.
Okay. Good question. Any other questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to the Wheatland Regional Corporation. Councillor Larson.
I'd like to let my name stand for the Wheatland Regional Corporation.
Thank you. Any other councillors interested in sitting on WRC? Deputy Reeve Clausen.
I would let my name stand as well.
Thank you.
And I would let my name stand as well.
Thank you. Any other councillors who are interested in serving on WRC? We'll move to a secret ballot. So we would be choosing 2 representatives, and then following that, we can choose an alternate. Thank you. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, after the secret ballot, Deputy Reeve Clausen and Councillor Eichert are the successful nominees.
Council's wishes.
Where,
I'll make the motion that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Eichert and myself, Deputy Reeve Clausen, as its representatives for the Wheatland Regional Corporation for the 2023-2024 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Oh, Deputy Reeve Clausen, administration has just added in accordance with secret ballot at the end of the motion.
Amendment.
accept that?
Yeah, I accept that amendment.
I'll call the question. Motion is carried. And is everyone okay if we just do the alternate for this and then we could take a short recess? We need 1 representative. Councillor
I'll let my
Larson.
name stand as alternate.
Is anybody else interested in serving as alternate for WRC? Council's wishes?
I move approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Larson as its alternate representative to the Wheatland Regional Corporation for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Sorry. Motion is carried. Let's recess until 10 a.m. We'll call the meeting back to order. Let's move to Addiction Resource Coalition of Strathmore and Wheatland. Looking for 1 councillor.
I had been sitting on this board, but I, just in terms of trying to devote my time to some other boards that I'm on, I would look to somebody else if they wanted to put their name forward. It's an awesome board, great people.
can I ask how many meetings?
So they meet monthly. It's like a 1-hour meeting, and they tend to do maybe 2 or 3 events that you're not obligated to go to, and they're small events that don't require a lot of planning. So it's just so they'll do a walk in the park for addictions awareness
Oh,
day or
okay.
something like that.
And are the meetings at night or during the day?
During the day, yeah, they're usually lunch meetings actually,
Lunch meetings.
and they usually meet here. So it's a coalition. There's people from WFCS
Oh, okay.
and Strathmore FCSS. There's some AHS addictions people. There is a counselor, a variety of people in the community.
I'll put my name out. Yes.
Is anybody else interested in serving?
I was just going to say it's on, the breakdown's on page 41 of our package. Anybody?
Yeah, I don't
Thanks,
have a
Deputy Reeve
package.
Clausen. Motion to appoint Councillor Bigger.
I'll move to approve Wheatland County appoint Councillor Bigger as its representative to the Addictions Resource Coalition of Strathmore and Wheatland for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Alberta Care.
We need an alternate, I think.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Is anybody willing to let their name stand as alternate? Councillor Larson? Anybody else? Council's wishes?
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Larson as its alternate representative to the Addictions Resource Coalition of Strathmore and Wheatland for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. Now we'll move to Alberta Care.
I'll let my name stand. I'm also on the board of directors for this as well, just so people are aware.
Okay. Anybody else? A motion to appoint Deputy Reeve Clausen.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Deputy Reeve Clausen as its representative to the Alberta Care for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Okay. Motion is carried. We'll move to Canadian Badlands. Councillor, oh,
Isn't
Councillor
Canadian Badlands, didn't they
it's-
fold up, Donna?
They did, and
Yeah.
it's just, so I've kept my name on there and I may have to just this year too. I don't know for sure. It's at the lawyers now. They're just finishing up the
Oh, okay.
solvement.
Good enough.
So if
Thanks.
there's anything, it would be like maybe talking to Travel Alberta because they're
Right.
taking on,
So are you willing to let your name stand for
Yep.
that? Okay.
just I'm the president and signing authority, so I should probably stay.
just as you're wrapping things.
Just wrapping things up, yeah.
Good question. So it sounds like Councillor Bigger would let her name stand. Anybody else? A motion to appoint Councillor Bigger?
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Bigger as its representative to the Canadian Badlands Limited for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Community Futures Wild Rose. I would let my name stand for this. Is anybody else interested? Council's wishes.
Move approval that Wheatland County appoint Reeve Link as its representative to Community Futures Wild Rose for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? Call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Drumheller and District Solid Waste Management Association.
Point of order.
Oh, thank you, Deputy Reeve Clausen. I'm trying to think, Councillor Bigger, were you
It's me.
alternate? Is anybody interested, or are you willing to let your name stand?
I'll let it stand.
Awesome. Anybody else?
If anyone else is interested, though, it's
A motion to appoint Councillor Bigger.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Bigger as its alternate representative to Community Futures Wild Rose for 2023-24.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. Now we'll move to Drumheller and District Solid Waste Management Association.
I'll let my name stand for that.
Thank you, Councillor Laverson. Deputy Reeve Clausen.
I'd like to put my name in there as well.
Is anybody else interested? We need one appointee, and we'll move to secret ballot between Councillor Laverson and Deputy Reeve Clausen.
Okay, so it was a tie, the tie vote, so we'll have to vote again. And if a clear winner is not after the second one, then we'll go to the picking names. Oh, the procedures that council agrees by consensus on. Okay, after the second vote, Deputy Reeve Clausen is the majority of the votes.
Council's wishes.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Deputy Reeve Clausen as its representative to the Drumheller and District Solid Waste Management Association for the 2023-24 term in accordance with the secret ballot.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We need an alternate appointment. Is anyone willing to let their name stand as alternate?
I'd ask Councillor Larson if he'd let his name stand.
Okay,
Thank you, Councillor Laverson. Council's wishes.
Oop, I'm way up there.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Larson as its alternate representative to the Drumheller and District Solid Waste Management Association for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question.
Oh, hello. Welcome to the organizational meeting.
Motion is carried. There's a suggested motion for the rural fire associations.
I'll
Councillor
let my
Larson.
name stand for Dallam and Hazar. Dallam is one meeting a year, Hazar is typically 3, and it does provide value to them.
Council's wishes.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint local councillors as representatives to the rural fire associations for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. There's also a recommended motion for the seed cleaning plants. Councillor Larson.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint all local councillors as representatives to their seat cleaning plants in their division for 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Larson. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Association.
I'd let my name stand for that. I'm on the executive for this, and just as a point, this will be the year that we decide if we go forward or we stop. So next year, not.
Anybody else interested in SEWA? A motion to appoint Deputy Ruth Clausen.
I move that Wheatland County appoint Deputy Reeve Clausen to its representative to the Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Association for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Brigger. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. An appointment for alternate.
I'll let my name stand as alternate.
Thank you, Councillor Eichert. Anybody else interested? A motion to appoint Councillor Eichert as alternate.
I'll make the motion that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Eichert as its alternate representative for Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Association for the 2023-2024 term.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve Clausen. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Strathmore District Ag Society, Indoor Riding Arena Advisory Committee.
I will let my name stand.
Just a question, Councillor Eichert, has there been many meetings in the last
No,
little
there
while?
has not.
It's been kind of stagnant, hasn't it?
Nothing.
Okay.
Like there was no meeting last year at all, so.
Anybody else interested? A motion to appoint Councillor Eichert.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Eichert as its representative to the Strathmore and District Ag Society Indoor Riding Arena Advisory Committee for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Any questions or discussion? Call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Strathmore Wheatland Chamber of Commerce. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. We can do one, and then if it gets busy and Councillor Eichert's not available. an alternate for the Strathmore Egg Society Indoor Riding Arena.
I'll let my name stand.
Anybody else interested? A motion to appoint Deputy Reeve Clausen.
I'll make the motion for county approve myself, Deputy Reeve Clausen, as its alternate representative to the Strathmore and District Ag Society Indoor Riding Advisory Committee for the 2023-2024 term.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve Clausen. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. Now we'll move to Strathmore Wheatland Chamber of Commerce.
I used to serve on this, and I'd like to maybe go back on it, if I could, if everybody is in agreement.
Anybody else interested in the chamber?
I support that idea. I do need to invest some more time on other things, so appreciate that. They'll love having Donna there.
A motion to appoint Councillor Bigger to the Strathmore Wheatland Chamber of Commerce.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Bigger as its representative to the Strathmore Wheatland Chamber of Commerce for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. An appointment of an alternate.
I would let my name stand as alternate.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Anybody else interested? A motion to appoint Councillor Laprise as alternate.
I'll move that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Laprise as its alternate representative to the Strathmore Wheatland Chamber of Commerce for the 2023-24 term.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Wheatland and Adjacent Districts Emergency Medical Services Association. Councillor Laverson.
I'll let my name stand for that.
Thank you. Anybody else interested?
That's one I've never sat on. I'd like to have my name on there as well.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve Clausen. Anybody else interested? A motion to appoint Councillor Laverson and Deputy Reeve Clausen.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint Councillor Larson and Deputy Reeve Clausen as its representatives to the Wheatland and Adjacent Districts Emergency Medical Services Association for the 2023-24 term.
Any questions or discussion? Call the question.
I'll let my name stand as alternate.
Previous motion was carried. Councillor Eichert has let his name stand as alternate. That's okay. That's good. Is there anybody else interested? A motion to appoint Councillor Eichert as alternate.
So moved.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve Clausen. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to Wheatland Regional Partnership Committee. There's a recommended motion. Councillor Laverson.
I'll move approval that Wheatland County appoint all members of council to the Wheatland Regional Partnership Committee for the 2023-2024 term.
Thank you, Councillor Laverson. Any questions or discussion? Call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to agenda item 2.5.
Good morning, Council. Brian from Administration. On page 64 of your agenda package is the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board member appointment. Council appoints members from time to time. Members are required to take mandatory training. If there are any questions on this report, please let me know. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
I'll move that council approve the appointment of the following individuals to the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board for a 3-year term expiring October 31st, 2026. George Sackley from Division 3 and Ken Williams from Division 7.
Thank you, Councillor Laprise. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to agenda item 2.6.
Yes, good morning, Council. Brian from Administration again. On page 67 is the Community Enhancement Regional Board appointments, otherwise known as the CURB Board. So all appointments are on there as well, just expiring kind of this term, so we're just appointing new members. If there's any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you, Deputy Reeve Clausen. Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to agenda item 2.7. 2.71.
Yes, good morning, Council. Brian from Administration again. On page 70 of your agenda package is just the 2 RMA convention events. So we put the spring and fall in as per normal. Just put the dates and just Council's approval to attend. If there's any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
Move approval for Wheatland County Council to attend the Rural Municipalities of Alberta 2024 conventions as stated. Spring and fall conventions.
Any questions or discussion? Call a question. Motion is carried. We'll move to 2.72.
Yes, good morning, Council. So on page 73 of your agenda package is the FCM 2024 convention. So this year, the FCM convention is in Calgary, which is usually held in eastern provinces, which is it's great that it's coming to Alberta, specifically very close to Wheatland County. In the past, Council has authorized a couple members of Council to attend the FCM. Just given proximity and the opportunity for all of Council to attend with limited travel expenses, it might be an opportune time to approve all of Council to attend if Council so does wish. That was Administration's recommendation. If there are any questions about the report, please let me know. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
I'll move approval for Wheatland County Council to attend the 2024 Federation of Canadian Municipalities Convention in Calgary, Alberta from June 6th to June 9th, 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Bigger. Any questions or discussion? I really like the motion approving attendance for everybody, and I would just encourage anybody who is able to attend to consider attending. There will be some events where we can highlight Alberta to our colleagues across Canada. I think the more folks we have out as ambassadors, especially of rural Alberta, the better. So just if you're able to attend, definitely recommend it. Any other questions or discussion?
As much as I question FCM, I will attempt to go to this because it's local and it won't cost a bunch, but definitely represent Alberta when it's time to be there. I can put my redneck on and definitely go out.
Any other questions or discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is carried. We'll move to agenda item 2.73.
Yes, good morning, Council. On page 76 of your agenda package is the provincial ASB 2024 convention. So just as in prior years, Council does authorize the ASB members to either attend either the provincial ASB or the Farm Tech one in either convention. So not both, but either. So that was administration's recommendation, just to stay consistent with previous years. If there's any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Council's wishes.
I'll move that council authorizes the members of the Agriculture Service Board to attend either the 2024 Provincial Ag Service Board Conference in January in Lethbridge or the 2024 Crossroad Convention Farm Tech in Calgary in January.
Thank you, Councillor Priest. Any questions or discussion? Call a question. Motion is carried. I believe agenda items or agenda item 2.8 is just for council information. Administration has put together a number of documents with hyperlinks to access that information, just for information. We can move to agenda item 2.9. There is a recommended motion.
I'll move that the ballots be destroyed pertaining to the secret ballots undertaken during the Wheatland County October 7th, 2023 organizational meeting.
Any questions or discussion? I'll call the question.
Before you shut down, I want to ask. Before you adjourn, I want to ask.
Deputy Reeve Clausen just has a question.
Being that we just went through all the positions here, I know there's been discussion in the past about committee and subcommittee work at these boards. I know in our first term, there was some questions and we approved some of it. Originally, I believe it was with Councillor Bigger when you did some community future stuff. And I realize there's a lot of workload with some of these. And I think our appointments just are, I think the bylaw is just specifically for the original seat and when the subcommittee work as. I'm just wondering if we should add that to a discussion at committee of the whole or something. So we're clear on what we're doing, because we kind of, I know some of these boards I sit on the executive for and stuff, and you know, people need to be aware of that, but maybe our bylaw already covers it. I'm not too sure.
Just through the Reeve, administration did direct, or sorry, council did direct administration to ask the council compensation committee to review this subject and topic. So after a few months of advertising, we did get the full committee staffed. So, and we had met yesterday actually, and that was one question that was posed to the committee for the committee's consideration to make a recommendation in their final report to council. So we anticipate that committee may take 6 weeks to get that report. So potentially early December, the report will be completed and presented to council either by a committee member or if delegated by administration.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our business for the organizational meeting. We will reconvene at 11 o'clock for council. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.